Hello there, my lovely darkling. It's your glamourable guide to ascension, back with another video, and today I want to talk about dark feminine energy, how to embody it and stop shrinking. Because us as awakened women and spiritually advanced women, we want to expand. Obviously, we want to integrate, especially when we do our shadow work to release, reprogram, and make sure that what we have uncovered about our unconscious mind, our subconscious mind, is still integrated within our being, where we are accepting it for what it is and giving it the love and compassion it deserves. But when it comes to our embodiment, we always want to expand. And in this world that we live in, we have unconsciously been conditioned to shrink, to stay small, to play small, to downplay our strengths, to downplay our talents, our gifts, in order for other people to feel better. Because as natural nurturers, we want other people to feel great. We want other people to feel loved, seen, heard, and understood. But that doesn't mean that we have to stuff ourselves in a box or play small once again in order for our loved ones to feel like they're in a higher state. So as much as I know that there is so much content out there about feminine energy, divine feminine energy, sacred feminine energy, and dark feminine energy, I want to set apart what it is and what it is not. So what is dark feminine energy? And I've talked about this for years, but it is not the wounded feminine energy. It's not the wounded feminine. It's not the parts of us that emit destructive, toxic, or negative behavioral patterns. Of course, our subconscious mind can hold those character traits within it that we have, that we've developed through trauma, through past lifetimes, through ancestral memory, through social conditioning, and all those types of things. But the dark feminine is just like the dark side of the moon, the dark side of you, the other side of the coin. It doesn't make it bad, and it doesn't necessarily make it good. It just is. And it's the part of feminine energy that is not really seen, that's been shamed into submission. You know, I already talk about that all the time. That has felt guilty for existing, that has been deemed unfit for societal consumption. And once again, that doesn't make it a bad thing. It just means that we have put a mask on in order to survive, in order to feel palatable to other people, in order to seem like we should fit in. Because humans, we are social beings. We want to make sure that we're a part of the tribe, a part of the group, a part of the community, because we know that even if that may not always be super necessary on the physical level, it definitely is on the mental level, because community is so important. So it is just these shadow aspects of feminine energy. So where light feminine energy will reside, that is the mask that you show the world. That is the forward-facing type energy that you show the world. Your joy, your lightness. Like, think about Pink, the princess archetype, being very quirky and pixie-ish and fairy-ish and childlike and playful and jovial. All those types of things. Not only is that just a part of feminine energy in general, like the fun aspect of it all, because that's what makes feminine energy so awesome, is the fun, the wonder, the joy, the play, the creativity, the expression. And the light side of the feminine energy is definitely that part where you could be that princess. And on the other side of the coin is dark feminine energy. And that is not just the sex kitten or being a toxic femme fatale or seducing people for seduction's sake. It is that womb space, that deep, dark moon space, that part of us that wants to move and that wants to be sensual with ourselves and other people, the part of us that wants to bring things in with our energy. It is definitely our sexual energy, because sexual energy is life force energy in general, but that definitely is how we express our sexuality, how we express our boundaries, how we express our anger, how we express our deeper emotions in general. So once again, on one side, where light feminine energy is expressing your airiness, the conscious side, the part of you that wants to have fun and be light and be effervescent and bubbly, which is a beautiful thing. But the dark side is the part of us that's not so wholesome. Once again, I would say that I would even put it in that type of category. Light feminine energy is definitely very wholesome, a very childlike, sweet, bubbly energy. And once again, on the other side of the coin, because that's what it is, it's not wounded, it's not bad, it's not evil, it is our not so wholesome side. It's where we're wild. It's where we're sensual. It's when we're uninhibited. It's when we're untamed, unleashed, unlocked. And we allow ourselves to be free. And we don't let anything or anyone shame us into hiding it. However, it has been hidden. So with our shadow work practice, we need to uncover those aspects of our being that are dying to come out and be expressed. And going back to light feminine energy, we always like to lean back on that as the good girl, to be pleasing to other people, to seem not as fickle or not as bitchy or not as harsh or not as stern or prude or cold. And you can still express your dark feminine energy and not be cold. So being the good girl, being agreeable, being too easygoing, overstepping on your own boundaries, once again, is not even just a form of self-sabotage. It keeps us repressed. It keeps the aspects of us that we want to have expressed unseen. It keeps us, once again, overstepping our own boundaries in order for other people to feel safe, secure, and loved. But what about us? What about us? Of course, we need to give that love to ourselves. Everything that we want other people to give to us and other things to give to us, we need to give to ourselves first, because it's all energetic. But when we're playing the good girl and we're putting on that mask of being agreeable, being too easygoing, being lax with our boundaries, being lax with the things that we know will trigger us that other people may do, and it may not be their fault, but it still doesn't feel good, and we need to let people know. That's what keeps the dark feminine energy in a box. That's what keeps it stuck in our subconscious. That's what keeps it suppressed. And if you do not check it, just like what Carl Jung, the granddaddy of shadow work, said, if you don't make the unconscious conscious, it'll direct your life and you'll call it fate. So don't allow your shadows to run on autopilot just for you to lash out in anger, and letting that be the catalyst in which you recognize your shadow aspects. You want to know what those things are right now, because you can and you're able to. And you're not going to know those things about yourself if you're stuck in the good girl mentality. If you're just stuck in your light feminine all the time and you're not creating a beautiful rhythm, a beautiful dance in between your light and dark aspects. Just being whole, being one, being in sacred union. And speaking of sacred union, it's all about integration. We want to integrate as much as we want to expand as spiritually advanced and awakened women. It's all about integration. So you not only just recognize your shadows, you already know the shadow work process anyway, but you're not only just recognizing your shadows, you are integrating it within your being. You are looking right at it, and you're giving it not only the compassion, the love and understanding it deserves and needs from you, but you are not even just releasing it. You are remembering that it is a part of you still, whether it is something from your past, whether it's something ancestrally, or whether it's something from your past lives. It doesn't matter. It's still a part of you. It got you to where you are right now. And it's always great to just integrate it within your being, allowing it to come into wholeness, come into union, because it's not something to be ashamed of. It's absolutely not something to be ashamed of. So you recognize that's the part of me that either used to exist or probably still does exist. But I'm going to always check myself before I wreck myself, so I don't run on autopilot, so I can act consciously rather than unconsciously. And that's the thing, shadow integration versus toxic positivity. So toxic positivity is bypassing everything. And I will say this, you can still see a negative situation happening in front of you and selectively perceive it as good. That's something that I do. I call this selective perception within my work. My clients will know this, is that yes, it can be considered delulu. Yes, it can be considered toxically positive. Yes, it can be considered as, is she okay? But the thing is, we need to reroute our reactions to certain things in order for the energy to shift, in order for the timeline to shift, in order for our embodiment to shift. But when you're being toxically positive, when you're acting in toxic positivity, you are literally not paying attention to your dark side at all. You are not recognizing your triggers as triggers. You're not recognizing your traumas as traumas, and you're not recognizing your emotions as things that need to be checked or energy that needs to be checked. So you are not just overriding that with being delulu or selectively perceiving something. Or for example, Things like this happen to me all the time, where a certain situation that used to bother me in the past, I will reroute my reaction the next time it possibly will happen. So for example, I was outside today drinking my smoothie on my deck, and I have a beautiful backyard, as you all know. I was going to film in my backyard today, but they're mowing lawns out here again, and I don't know how often I could really film videos outside. So I'm gonna try my best in the future. But I was outside drinking my smoothie, my delicious smoothie. Oh my God, so good. And just enjoying the wind, the earth, the trees, the breeze. And there were bugs flying everywhere. And in the past, that would have freaked me out. In the past, that would have freaked me out. And there was a huge bee coming my way. It wasn't a bumblebee, it was a bee. And that's a beautiful thing. Of course, I respect and have honor for all life. But this bee was a bee. It could have stung me, especially with my sugary smoothie, full of natural fruit sugars, of course. And in the past, I would have freaked out. I would have been like, oh Lord, I would have gone back inside. But as much as it did intimidate me at first, I was selectively perceiving the bee as harmless. I was selectively perceiving the bee as just being as they are. I was selectively perceiving my experience as, I'll be perfectly fine. I'm not gonna get stung. Why would I be? And that's not me being toxic positivity, as in like, oh, everything's okay, bees don't sting, who cares, whatever. I selectively perceived it as, this bee is not going to sting me. My smoothie's not attracting this bee. The bee is allowed to be. As we all know, all beings are allowed to be. But in the past, I would have freaked out, but I rerouted my typical unconscious response so that I allowed myself to just do what I was doing and let the bee do as they were doing. And it worked. The bee completely bypassed me and didn't even buzz around my sweet smoothie. So once again, shadow integration is me recognizing that sometimes bees would scare me, especially in the past, and recognizing that it was a part of my being. I've integrated, and I notice when I'm having harsh emotional reactions to certain bugs or insects in my being, but I'm allowing them to be. I am selectively perceiving it in the way that my higher self would see it, and I behave from there. But being toxically positive or being in your toxic positivity is completely bypassing the fact that you feel that way in general, or seeing it as a positive thing. It's a neutral thing. It's neutral that I'm feeling this way. All I need to do is integrate it within my being and accept that it exists. There's nothing wrong with being scared of bees or insects, but I do need to check myself because they were here before me and they're allowed to be here. So, two different things. And when you integrate your shadows, you're able to channel that dark feminine energy into everything that you do in proper means, of course, where you can channel it into your relationships, romantic, of course. You can channel it into your leadership. You can channel it into your seduction, your magnetism. There's so many ways that you can channel your dark feminine energy in the correct spaces where it allows you to have fun. It allows you to be free. It allows you to be completely authentic and attracts all that is meant for you in this lifetime. So some great ways to not only embody this energy, dark feminine energy, into your being is not only through your shadow work practices, but you can do it through somatic ritual to unlock this raw, magnetic, sensual power that exists deep within you. So to awaken that sacred feminine fire is, as you already know, I always talk about this, touching your skin all over. Your head, your lips, your neck, everywhere, all the sensual spaces. You can do it through dance. Dance is so important. Just letting yourself be free with it, be uninhibited with it, be wild with it. It doesn't have to have a rhyme or a reason. Just dance. Just allow yourself to flow. Allow it to just come through you. Allow yourself to channel. Allow yourself to channel it. And that's everything that the shadow side or the dark side of feminine energy is all about. It is about that intuitive place, that we don't need to think. We can turn our logic off. We can turn our mind off for a second and allow our body to do the talking and our body to do the acting. And dancing is perfect for that. And just let it feel good. You don't, once again, it doesn't have to be like a dance move. It could just be however your body wants to wobble or wiggle. And through your passions, express your passions intuitively. If you're going to paint, let it be a blind eye drawing. If you're going to do music, improvise it. If you're going to sing, let it be a channeled song. Just anything that makes you feel like You're channeling your higher self through you into this vessel, because we're doing that anyway. But once again, you're not letting your logical mind take over. You're not going to think it through. You're going to feel it through. And of course, other forms of movement like yoga or Tai Chi or anything like that. But I always recommend Kundalini yoga for things like this, because not only are you awakening that Kundalini energy at the bottom of your spine and letting it go upward, but you are doing the breath work, doing certain movements that feel very intuitive, that feel very awakening, that feel very activating, and allows you to just be in your sensual power once again. Oh, I can talk about sensuality all day. And you can move more into your sensual and magnetic power by booking your one-on-one Ashes to Ascension tarot reading with me. Link in the description. So now we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. So do you know how to embody your dark feminine energy? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. Much love, and until next time, my lovely darkling. Bye-bye.